And if you look at what's been happening, President Obama continued on his way out the door to try to give more control to unelected bureaucrats in Washington at the expense of our students back in their local communities. So this is important legislation, and hopefully this will get all the way to President Trump's desk and get signed into law. There was another bill that we passed last night unanimously out of the House, something that everybody across the country should be really concerned about. It's called the Email Privacy Act, a bill by Kevin Yoder that passed in the last Congress and hopefully actually makes it all the way through the process this year, that takes, right now, the IRS has actually been undermining the private rights of citizens, undermining the Fourth Amendment protections of privacy of Americans all across the country that don't realize that right now the IRS has been reading emails without the knowledge of the person who sent those emails. They don't even let you know unless they find something that they're going to go after you on. And so right now, if the IRS is reading your emails without your permission and without a warrant, you don't even know about it unless they decide that they want to come after you. That will end with the Email Privacy Act. The federal government shouldn't be reading your emails privately. It's something that's been going on for years now. We uncovered it through our oversight and now brought forward legislation that gives actual protections, privacy protections to Americans to have the understanding and the protection to know that the federal government cannot read your email without your permission unless they get a warrant. You ought to have that privacy right. That's been taken away by the IRS over the last few years. We're finally giving that privacy protection back to Americans.
Look, every day we are focused here on delivering results for the American people. That is the trust that has been given to us by the people we represent. That is why we are tackling these excessive regulations, because it means job creation. It means opportunity. It means more growth and innovation across our economy. That is why you are seeing us take our precious time to focus on rolling back excessive regulations that are killing jobs in America. It's also why we're working to repeal and replace Obamacare, to help people who are struggling with these higher premiums, to help people who have lost their plan or their doctor or both, to help people left with just one insurer to choose from, as is the case with 1 out of every 3 counties in America. This is not what the country was promised. Far from it. More and more, we see things getting worse. More and more, we see this law collapsing in front of us. So we could do one of two things. We could have just sit back and watched the collapse happen and see people get hurt, or we could step in and conduct a rescue mission, which is to rescue the American healthcare system from the collapse that is coming because of Obamacare. There is no excuse for getting this wrong. That is why, as promised, we are taking action step by step. One of those steps is also getting Tom Price confirmed as HHS Secretary, and we hope that the Senate will do that very soon. With Dr. Price in place at HHS, he will help deliver stability and reinvigorate the marketplace for consumers so that people can have more choices. Another step is to have our committees take action on specific health care bills. That's why Kathy McMorris Rodgers isn't here today, because the Energy and Commerce Committee is marking up important Medicaid legislation while we speak. We are pressing ahead step by step. Now, I know that there are strong views about this. There should be strong views about this. Healthcare is very personal. That is why we are committed to getting this right. That is why we are committed to rescuing people from this collapsing law and replace it with a much better system that is a patient-centered healthcare system where we as patients and our doctors are the nucleus, the decision makers of our healthcare system, not some distant bureaucracy. That is why we're going to do this step by step and do this right and replace it with something that is far better for families, far better for patients. Questions?
Mr. Speaker, the President made several new false statements yesterday, most notably that there are major terror attacks that the media intentionally isn't covering. Are you getting concerned at all about his grasp of the truth?
Look, I'm going to do my job. I'll let you guys do yours with respect to how you report or what you don't report. The problem is we do have a war on terror in front of us. We do have ISIS trying to conduct terrorist attacks across the globe. This is a real serious problem. And what I'm focused on is doing our job and making sure that our law enforcement authorities, that our military have the tools they need to keep us safe.
But are you worried that it hurts our credibility around the world?
I can't speak to whether or not you're over or under reporting something. That's your job. I'll stick with doing mine. Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, Anna Edgerton from Bloomberg. Over the weekend, President Trump tweeted about the so-called judge, calling the decision ridiculous. I know he's an unconventional president. You don't comment on the tweet of the day.
So you got my cocky voice down already.
At what point is it appropriate for the Speaker of the House to stand and say,
Look,
it is important to respect other
we,
branches of government?
we respect an independent judiciary. This is a separate branch of government. Look, he's not the first president to get frustrated with a ruling from a court. I think what's most important are the actions. This administration is honoring the ruling, and this administration is going through the proper procedures to deal with the ruling, to try and get the ruling overturned. They're going through the appeals process. They're respecting the separation of powers in the process. Look, I know he's an unconventional president. He gets frustrated with judges. We get frustrated with judges, but he's respecting the process, and I think that's what counts at the end of the day.
Speaker, the president also talked about a timeline for changing the current healthcare system. He put that at a year. Is that a timeline you're comfortable with? Is he getting that from you?
Yeah,
Or are
no,
you on different pages?
I think there's a little confusion here. The legislating is going to be done this year. We are going to be done legislating with respect to health care and Obamacare this year. The question is, how long does it take to implement the full replacement of Obamacare? And that's why, honestly, we got to get Tom Price over at HHS, Seema Verma confirmed at CMS, so that they can get to work with replacing this collapsing law. So the question about how long it takes to effectuate the change, how long it takes to put these things in place, that's a question that the HHS can answer. But as far as legislating is concerned, we're going to do our legislating this year.
On
Yeah.
that same issue, though, over the weekend, we saw a fair amount of backlash from Americans voicing their concerns directly to Republican
Nope.
members about this. Are you concerned that you need to not just present a plan, but sell it to the American people
Look,
quickly?
I think it's important for people to speak their minds in this country. That we cherish the First Amendment. And people who are concerned and anxious, we want them to know that we want to listen to their concerns and that peaceful protests are something we honor in this country. I just hope people keep it peaceful, respect private property, have no violence. And so this is something that we cherish. We've been doing this in Wisconsin for many, many years. We're used to this where I come from. But the point that we cannot escape, Obamacare is collapsing. It's not working. Premiums are going up double digits. Deductibles are so high, it doesn't even feel like you got insurance. So the law is in the middle of a collapse, and it's our duty and our obligation to replace it with something better. The good news is we actually ran on a plan to replace Obamacare, and now our committees are in the midst of actually putting that plan together. And so, yes, this year we're going to be going out and talking about what our plan is, the one we ran on in 2016, and why it's going to be better. And so that's what I think you should take a look at. Take a look at our plan for pre-existing conditions with high-risk pools. We think it's far superior. Take a look at our plan for refundable tax credits so people can get affordable health care insurances. Take a look at our plan for more insurance competition so that we can actually have competition in the marketplace so that we can get prices down. That's the beautiful thing about the American healthcare system that we want restored. And so we do have plans. Our committees are busy underway doing this. And yes, we're going to have a great conversation with our fellow citizens about how it is our mission to rescue the healthcare system from its imminent collapse and to give people something better. And we hope to get this done as fast as possible because families are counting on us.
Last question.
Who are you from?
Jennifer Scott, Congressional Quarterly. The White House has said it will be sending a border supplemental and a defense supplemental to the Hill. When do you expect those? How much do you expect those to cost? And what vehicle do you plan on bringing those to the House?
Sooner is better than later, but I don't know the answer to the size and scope of it because they haven't sent it to us yet. But we've always long anticipated that we would get a supplemental from the administration on defense issues, on national security issues, and we expect that. Thank you very much.
How do you